Those who have been chosen, you are aware of things that you ought not to be aware of, and it is making them extremely uncomfortable. It is imperative that we make one thing abundantly clear right now. These individuals believed that they were clever. They believed that they could pull strings behind your back while simultaneously flashing those fake smiles to your face. The assumption that they made was that you were merely another participant in their game, another pawn that could be managed. It's not true. In the same time that they were playing checkers, you were becoming an expert in cosmic chess. This is something that they failed to recognize. As if it were made of nothing but the thinnest glass. Every action is calculated, every scenario is foreseen, and every lie is seen through as if it were composed of nothing but truth. Remember that time when they tried to keep you from taking advantage of that chance, when they omitted to mention that crucial piece of information by accident, when they spoke with a double-edged sword, saying one thing to you and another behind closed doors. You knew. You always knew. And now they are aware that you knew. The realization is rapidly spreading through their social networks like wildfire. The expression of terror that appears in their eyes when they realize that you have been 10 steps ahead of them is priceless. Some of them are slowly retreating, fearful of what else you may discover about their schemes and manipulations. They are afraid of what you might find out. They are so terrified that they whisper to each other, "Be careful around that one." They are aware of everything, and they have every reason to be so. The cosmic alignment that is taking place in your life at this very moment cannot be denied. The way that opportunities seem to fall into your lap at exactly the right moment. The way that you survive disasters that claim everyone around you. The way that you position yourself perfectly for success, while others scramble in confusion. It's almost as if you can see around corners, peek through the veil that separates what is happening now from what is going to happen in the future. Even the skeptics can't ignore it anymore. The fact that you always seem to be in the right place at exactly the right time. That you spend your energy in things just before they erupt in popularity, and that you withdraw from situations just before they collapse, are all things that they have noticed about you. At first, they referred to it as a lucky guess, a coincidence. However, they argued that it was simply lucky timing. After the third, fourth, and fifth time, they finally ran out of reasons. The murmurs began, and the sideways glances became more intense. They tried their best to explain everything, but they were unsuccessful. They are correct in their assumption that you are aware of something that they are not. You have been wide awake, tuned into frequencies that they are unable to even perceive, and reading signs and patterns that are invisible to individuals who have not yet awakened to their full potential. While others have been sleepwalking through existence, you have been acutely aware. Your intuitive abilities are not merely good, they are supernatural, and they are growing stronger with each passing day. As if their pitiful attempts at hiding could survive your penetrating knowledge, there are some fools who truly believe they are able to conceal the truth from you. Remember how they crowded around and spoke in hushed tones, how they hid their deepest, most secret truths in the vaults of their thoughts, believing that no one would ever be able to access them. Take a look at this. You are already aware that the game is rigged, and if you are paying attention, you are aware that the situation is becoming worse. You are here for a reason. If you feel the call, answer it. Click Join to unlock exclusive content, deep insights, and a powerful community. This isn't just a membership, it's an awakening. Step into your divine purpose. Join the chosen. They are now coming to the realization that you have known all along. Nevertheless, You have never felt the need to declare it. You have never needed to prove yourself, and you have never sunk to their level of using spectacular revelations and petty conflicts. They are becoming more distant as a result of the weight of their guilt. Some of them can hardly look you in the eye anymore because they are scared of facing the truths that may be reflected back at them. Others are making a valiant effort to rewrite history in order to persuade themselves that you could not possibly know that, but they are aware, on some level, that you never required their confession in order to see through them. You continue to be unshakable and unmovable, like a mountain of serenity in the midst of a cyclone of frenzy, while others are falling under pressure and breaking under the weight of uncertainty. They have noted, and it is difficult for them not to, that when the economy went into a tailspin, you did not panic when that major upheaval reached your workplace. Rather, you adapted without any problems. You managed to handle them with an almost spooky composure, while a personal catastrophe occurred, and it is stressing them out. They are unable to comprehend how you are able to navigate these circumstances without the bewilderment and hesitancy that plagues everyone else. They are unable to comprehend how you appear to have a map, while others are fumbling around in the dark. Certain individuals have come to the conclusion that you must own an insider source, which is a covert relationship that provides you with knowledge as well as a concealed advantage that explains your unexplainable confidence. But the reality is not only more straightforward, but also more profound. You simply know. Your consciousness operates on a higher plane. You are able to tap into the universal flow of knowledge that is all around us, but it is not apparent to those who prefer to keep their third eyes closed. The answers are crystal clear, indisputable, and unquestionable. Therefore, you do not require any external validation or confirmation because they originate from within you. Over the course of many years, you withheld some gifts from others, minimized your capabilities, and diminished your own strengths in order to conform to their restricted expectations. However, this is no longer the case. The cosmic energy that is currently permeating our reality is magnifying everything about you, including your abilities, your insights, and your power. It is now hard to contain the things that you were formerly able to conceal beneath the veneer of normalcy, because they are suddenly breaking forth. The precision of your work, the depth of your comprehension, and the seemingly effortless way in which you do what others battle for years to attain are all things that others who misjudge the depth of your abilities are now witnessing with mouths agape as they observe what you are truly capable of. On the other hand, there are those who look at your abilities with a sense of true appreciation, while others perceive them with a lack of self-control and wonder what else you have been keeping hidden all this time. On the other hand, each and every one of them is being compelled to reconsider all that they believed they knew about you. The question that they ask each other is, where did that come from? The question that they are concerned about is, have you always been able to do that? They ask, what else are they hiding? They are completely unaware that what they are currently observing is only the tip of the iceberg, which is the tiniest portion of your actual potential that is just beginning to emerge from the surface. There is an ocean of untapped power that sits beneath those waters, and if it were released in its entirety, it would entirely demolish their understanding. Behind closed doors, when they believe no one is looking, they are unable to stop watching you, even when they are pretending not to see and acting as if they are not paying attention to what you are doing before them. Each and every social media post is inspected, each and every accomplishment is analyzed, and each and every action that you take is dissected with an overwhelming focus on the details. If your heart overflows with God's blessings. Let that love shine. Click the super thank you button and give $20 or more to plant seeds of faith that will impact countless lives. Your generosity reflects His abundance. Be a vessel of His grace and watch His kingdom flourish through you. They are pulled to you like moths to a flame, both afraid and intrigued by the light that you emit. This could be due to the fact that your influence is rising, that you have great wisdom, or that you possess a magnetic presence, a pattern, an explanation that they can comprehend, a formula that they can decipher that would make sense of what it is that sets you apart from the rest of the herd is something that they are hunting for with all their might. A few people have even attempted to recreate your route in the hope of absorbing some portion of your power through imitation. Some people have developed extensive ideas about your background, while others have imagined links that do not exist. None of it works, of course, because what they fail to comprehend is that your power is not something external that can be duplicated or stolen. Rather, it is an internal awakening that can only be accomplished by those who are courageous enough to confront their most profound truths and let go of the constraints of conventional thinking. The potential that they are looking for is already present within themselves, dormant and waiting to be ignited by the same cosmic awareness that you have already embraced for a considerable amount of time. While they are wasting energy observing you, they are missing the most important fact. These individuals compartmentalized and categorized you in accordance with their limited comprehension, thereby placing you in a convenient box. Just quiet, they said. Probably shy, they thought. Kind of detached from everything, they decided. Fools, all of them. Just quiet, they said. What they mistook for silence was actually contemplation. What appeared to be shyness was actually insight, and what appeared to be detachment was truly profound observation. You were accumulating information, developing an understanding, and mapping relationships that they were unable to even see, while they were blabbering their tongues, divulging their secrets, disclosing their goals, and announcing their flaws. Currently, the reality is beginning to dawn on them with a clarity that is unsettling. You were not missing from the conversation. Rather, you were above it, processing on levels that they were unable to reach and recognizing patterns that they were unable to recognize. The insight has struck them like a cosmic lightning bolt. From this point forward, every interaction with you will be influenced by this renewed comprehension, because they are aware that you are not only listening to their statements, but also reading between the lines. They carefully measure each and every word that they share with you. They believed that they had a complete understanding of who you were and what you were capable of. Nevertheless, they were incorrect, and that incorrect assumption may have been the most significant error in judgment that they have ever made. They are completely unnerved by the manner in which you speak about things that they have not disclosed to you. How did you know that they were considering making a change in their line of work? The fact that they were having issues at home is something that you could not possibly have imagined. The reason you gave them counsel for a topic that they had never discussed with anybody else is unclear. How you always seem to say exactly the correct thing at exactly the right time. How your words hit with laser accuracy, addressing the very thoughts that are churning in the darkest parts of their minds is something that they do not understand. The possibility that you have some kind of supernatural insight, a psychic gift that enables you to skip normal communication and tap directly into their consciousness, has begun to be questioned by a few individuals. Others are just hoping and praying that you never turn that penetrating stare fully on them. They are scared of the other secrets that you might unearth from the depths that they have worked so hard to keep concealed. They are unaware of the fact that mind reading is a skill that is reserved for novices. You do not have to infiltrate their minds because you have learned something that is much more powerful: the capacity to read the universal language that talks through everything. This includes the subtle hints, the energetic shifts, and the patterns that disclose everything to those who are smart enough to perceive them. It is not true that their thoughts are exceptional or one of a kind. Rather, they are merely manifestations of the same cosmic dance that has been taking place ever since the beginning of consciousness itself, and you have developed a command of that ancient and holy language. You're not here by chance. Feel the pull, tap join to unlock truth, purpose, and a tribe that gets it. This is more than a membership. It's your calling. You are aware of the power that silence possesses, in contrast to those who are constantly shouting to be heard and urgently looking for confirmation for every thought that comes into their head. You don't feel the need to make your objectives public. You don't waste energy explaining your process, and you don't dilute your influence by seeking acceptance from people who could never understand what you're trying to do. They are on edge because they do not know what you are thinking, and this uncertainty is driving them completely mad. Other people do not know what you are thinking. They have been accustomed to living in a world where everyone overshares, where every idea is broadcast, and where quiet is treated with suspicion. To penetrate that aura of mystery that surrounds your thoughts and decisions, to gain some advantage in conversations that increasingly feel one-sided, they wish they could read you the way you read them. They wish they could read you the way you read them. Every time they believe they have the upper hand, that they have finally taken one step ahead of you, they turn around to find out that you have been ahead the entire time, watching, waiting, and making multiple moves that go beyond their limited strategic thinking. There is no void in your quiet. Rather, it is fullness. It is not absence, but presence. It is a space that is so charged with knowledge that words would only serve to decrease its force. They fall into the trap of mistaking your silence for a sign of weakness, only to be continually taken aback by the strength that it conceals. They misunderstand your reserve as a sign of reluctance, rather than recognizing it as the flawless posture of a master who only attacks when it is absolutely necessary to do so. You have realized that the genuine power rests in the intervals between words, in the knowing gaze, the small grin, and the perfectly timed phrase that destroys their entire house of cards with surgical precision. This is something that you have discovered for yourself in a world that is filled with noise. There was a period when you were more visible, more engaged in their social dynamics, and more present in the settings that they control. Yet, in recent times, you have withdrawn, created distance, and erected boundaries that they were not anticipating. At first, they presumed that you were going through a challenging situation, such as having personal issues or possibly even dealing with some kind of crisis. Untrue once more. The phenomenon that they are observing is not withdrawal. Rather, it is elevation. You have not taken a step back. Rather, you have taken a stride forward. You have ascended to a plane of life in which their trivial concerns and political games no longer demand your complete attention. This includes your concentration, your discipline, and your careful curation of where and how you use your energetic resources. Every single thing that they believed they understood about you and about themselves is being called into question as a result of this. They are experiencing a form of existential dread as a result of the fact that you are investing in different priorities, engaging with different types of people, and pursuing knowledge and experiences that appear bizarre or unnecessary to them due to their limited perspective? Were they able to uncover something that we were unable to? Is there any information that they have about what is about to happen that we ought to get ready for? How come they don't seem to be concerned about the things that we find worrying? At the same time that you have understood the cosmic insignificance of the rat race that they are currently running, the truth is both straightforward and profound. During the time when they are fixated on their own little area of reality, you have caught a peek of the wider picture. Despite the fact that your withdrawal is not about them in any way, their egos are unable to accept the fact that they need to believe that they are still vital to your story, even while you are writing chapters that they could not even begin to grasp or understand. They develop narratives that make sense within their limited framework. They propagate tales that tell much more about their own worries and insecurities than they do about you. When individuals are unable to explain something that contradicts their worldview, they create imaginary stories. They create narratives that make sense within their restricted framework. Let them discuss, let them theorize, and let them exhaust themselves trying to fit your transcendent experience into their mundane categories. They must have come into some money. I heard they joined some kind of spiritual group, and someone said they're having a midlife crisis, are all examples of statements that could be said. In actuality, you are rising and expanding your consciousness, breaking free from the very restrictions that they continue to mistake for the confines of reality itself. Some people assumed that you were dealing with something personal, but in reality, you were doing the opposite. It is now impossible for them to avoid admitting that they made a mistake in judging you, even if they choose not to say it out loud. The evidence of your transformation is too clear to be denied, and the results of your inner effort are too concrete to be disregarded. They are unable to influence you with their rumors and hypotheses, and you are unable to reach the level of operation that you are currently at. The only thing that is revealed by them is the limitations of the people who fired them, just like arrows that are aimed at the sun and fall back to earth. The ones among them who are actually aware have begun to come to a deep realization. The very fact that they are unable to comprehend your journey may be evidence that it is precisely the road that they ought to be contemplating for themselves. The altered nature of your interaction with these individuals has resulted in a delightful sense of unpredictability that keeps them awake at night. They have the impression that you are not as readily available as you previously were. You are not as easily drawn into their dramas, and you are not as willing to operate within the limitations of their expectations. However, they are unsure of how to interpret this shift in your availability. Are you completely finished dealing with them? Have you decided that they are not deserving of your commitment of time and effort? Alternatively, are you merely observing from a distance, continuing to keep track of their activities and keeping an eye on them in ways that they are unable to see or comprehend them? They become agitated as a result of this uncertainty, which causes them to question their behaviors and forces them to question whether or not they are still being judged according to criteria that they are unable to detect. If they should fear you or try to earn back your favor, if they should write you off as lost to them, or if they should work to bridge the growing gulf between them, they are unsure of what to determine. The fact that your relationship with them has changed as a result of your own personal development is something that they struggle to comprehend. It is not that you have turned them down. Rather, you have simply outgrown the version of yourself that required their approval, that took part in their games, and that could be confined inside their restricted understanding. You now relate to them from a position of compassion rather than attachment, from wisdom rather than emotional entanglement. This is the new way of thinking about them. You are able to perceive their challenges with the clarity of someone who has moved beyond them, rather than with the judgment of someone who believes that they are superior. You are not exceptional because you are different from them. Rather, you are special because you have embraced what they continue to deny in themselves, which is the knowledge that they perceive in you. This truth lies underneath all of their observations, ideas, and murmurs, and it is so profound that most people are not prepared to address it. It is accessible to everyone. The awareness that they awe at is also their birthright. The strength that they both fear and admire is present inside them as well. The only thing that differentiates you from them is that you had the bravery to awaken, to let go of the programming that kept you tiny, and to embrace the grandeur of your true potential rather than shrinking to fit within the cozy confines that society imposes on you. They are aware of this reality on some profound, possibly unconscious level, and it terrifies them because acknowledging your transformation means admitting that they have been sleepwalking through existence. It means that they have accepted limitations that were never real, and that they have been complicit in their own confinement. But for those courageous few who are able to overcome their fear and who are able to see your evolution not as a threat, but as inspiration, you serve as living proof of what is possible. You are a beacon that illuminates the path for others who are ready to break free. You are a mirror that reflects potential that they have kept hidden from themselves. You are a living embodiment of the cosmic truth that we are all infinitely more powerful, more aware, and more divine than we have been led to believe. They are unable to stop talking about how you know more than you let on, because deep down, they are aware that your knowing is only a preview of the next evolutionary leap that humanity will take, and regardless of whether or not they are prepared for it, that evolution is already in progress. Nothing, absolutely nothing, will ever be the same again, because you are its pioneer, its early adopter, and its vanguard. Nothing will ever be the same again. The doorway to the cosmos has opened, and you have successfully passed through it. However, the way forward has been made clear, and others will follow, some of them quickly, and others with reluctance. Your heroic example reveals the path that must be taken in order to move forward. They engage in conversation about you at this moment because deep inside their beings, they are aware that their spirits realize what their minds resist, and that their higher selves comprehend what their egos refute. You are the living proof that transcendence is achievable, that awakening is not just a spiritual notion, and that the incredible potential that is inside every human being may be realized in this lifetime. That is the most revolutionary message that can possibly be conveyed. There is a recognition among the cosmic forces that govern reality that you are a catalyst, a force for transformation in a planet that is in dire need of awakening. The celestial bodies themselves align with your journey. Your existence on this planet, at this crucial juncture in the progress of humanity, is not a coincidence. Your timing on this planet during this important period is divinely ordained. They acknowledge your part in this big cosmic play by whispering your name across the vastness of space. The stars themselves are acknowledging your contribution.